Listen, child of the wind. Come closer to the fire, sit beside the flame. Tonight, I will tell you a story so old, the stars have forgotten when it began. But the earth still remembers. It is the tale of why African women have wide, powerful, life-giving hips. Long ago, in the time before iron, before the great cities, when every tree had a spirit and every stone had a name, there was a small village nestled between hills that curved like sleeping lions. The village was called Koroni, and its people were simple, joyful, and strong. In those days, all women were built the same, slim like the acacia tree, fast like the gazelle, with hips as narrow as a hunter's bow. They ran the plains with grace, danced like the wind, and walked without rest. But the earth, she was watching. And in Koroni, there lived a woman unlike any other. Her name was Makena. Makena was a potter. Her hands knew the shape of every vessel, just as her heart knew the shape of every soul. She had no husband, no children, but the people called her mother of the village. The children loved her stories. The women came to her for herbs and songs. The men respected her wisdom. And the elders, they whispered that Makena carried an old spirit, one that remembered the world before words. But then came the year the rains forgot to fall. The sky stayed dry. The rivers shrunk to threads. The millet dried on the stalk. Babies cried with no milk in their mother's breast. Dust replaced joy. Hunger became a shadow. The people prayed. They offered gods of honey and goats with clean white coats. But the sky was silent, and the earth remained still. Makena sat alone under the moon and wept. Not for herself, but for the mothers with sunken eyes. For the children with swollen bellies. For the land that had turned its face away. And on the third night of her tears, she had a dream. A great figure rose from the soil, tall as a mountain, with skin like fertile earth and eyes that glowed like fireflies. It was Nyami, the mother of all, the spirit of the womb of the world. Makena, she said, her voice 1,000 drums. You are not just a woman, you are a vessel. The world needs carriers of life, of balance, of rhythm. I will give you the essence of creation. But you must go alone into the sacred forest. And you must be willing to change forever. Makena bowed deeply. If it brings life back to my people, I will go. So, with no food, no fear, and no farewell, Makena entered the sacred forest. The forest was alive. Trees whispered her name. Shadows danced beside her. The air was thick with the breath of ancestors. Makena sang as she walked. Womb of the earth, hear my cry. Give me the strength to carry life. Give me the shape to bear the world. For 7 days and 7 nights, she sang to the roots, to the stones, to the silent sky. The forest tested her. One day, she found herself surrounded by snakes, not to harm her, but to watch. They circled in silence, hissing songs older than man. Makena bowed and sang, and the snakes coiled away in peace. Another night, she faced a river with no bridge. She dipped her feet in, and the water parted like curtains, for the forest knew her heart was pure. On the 7th night, beneath a full moon that bled silver, the earth cracked open at her feet. From its depths came a glowing golden liquid, warm, heavy, and alive. This was Moyo wa Ulimwengu, the soul of the world. Makena reached for it with her calabash, but the essence flowed through her hands, into her veins, into her hips. They grew wide. They curved like hills. They became strong like the trunk of the baobab. And her back arched, her walk slowed, her center of gravity shifted, and she felt no shame. She felt power. Her body no longer moved like wind, it moved like earth. Makena had become a living vessel. Her hips were no longer just bones, they were the cradle of generations. She left the forest transformed. Her skin glowed. Her eyes carried light. She walked not with haste, but with purpose. And behind her the clouds began to form. When Makena returned to Koroni, the people were on their knees begging the sky for mercy. But behind her, the wind began to howl. Thunder clapped. Rain fell in heavy drops, soaking the earth. The goats bleated with joy. The crops reached for the clouds. Babies laughed in their mother's arms again. And Makena. She walked differently now, her hips moved with rhythm, like a drum beat only the ancestors could hear. The village gathered around her, stunned. One young girl whispered to her mother, "Mama, why does Makena walk like the river dances?" And the mother answered, "Because she carries more than water. She carries life." From that day, the shape of women began to change. The gods had touched Makena, and through her, all future mothers. Their hips grew wide, to bear the pain of birth and the joy of creation. Their hips swayed with grace, not for vanity, but because they carried legacy. Their backs grew strong, because they bore the burdens of the world. And their walk became poetry, every step, a rhythm of the earth. The elders say, when an African woman walks, the ancestors dance behind her. So now, when you see African women with wide hips, do not stare. Bow your head. For you are witnessing the shape of survival. The curve of courage. The symbol of Makena's gift. And the mark of the Mother Earth herself. Tale told, tale treasured. Let it walk from your mouth to another's ear, and from there, to the soul. And that, dear one, is why African women have large hips.